Okay, welcome back to the channel. This is the next job. Just literally turned up to have a look at this thing. It is a Ferguson 20, and this one is a little bit different to the work I've done before in that. Yep, spark plugs. This is a Petrol TVO. If you're not familiar with that, that is a tractor vaporizing oil, which was some kind of form of paraffin, I believe. But so it's got a 2-compartment tank. I know very little about these things, so forgive me when I get stuff wrong. A lot of people corrected me on the last video about the 35. I wrongly assumed that all 3-cylinder 35s were 35Xs, so guys, thanks for clarifying that, and several other mistakes I made about that, so I might try and do a little bit more research on this one before I start talking about it. But I believe it's only been sitting about 10 years. I will have found out properly, so the title of this video will indicate the number of years it's sitting. The battery that was in it is right here, and it's not very old looking. I'll try and find the date somewhere on it, but it is recent enough. I have tried charging it, it won't take charge, so it's completely knackered. But anywho, before I removed the battery, of course, I checked which way around the posts were. So this tractor is negative earth. Again, don't shoot me for saying this, but I believe from speaking to other people that some of these were 6 volts, but this one has been converted to 12 volt. I would also have assumed, but that's a dangerous thing to do, that it would have been originally positive earth. So I'm going to have a little look in here, see what it looks like. There's fuel in there, but it smells like varnish, and you can see where all the paint on top of the tank has kind of gotten soft, and I think that's basically from the fumes escaping from the fuel has done that. So I would say that that fuel is definitely no longer volatile. And just take a walk around the other side and have a look at it. So downswept exhaust. There's your carburetor and dynamo. Sorry, I'll get a bit more light in this side of the tractor in a minute before we start filming proper. But yeah, look, this is obviously a preserved tractor. It's a ZK registration, which should make it a local tractor. It's obviously been restored, as all those tyres are pretty fresh. This one cracked there now from sitting alright, and front tyres are flat, but by and large, so you can see it was covered up. There was a lot of effort made to protect it while it was in storage. So yeah, look, we're going to go through the usual checks. First of all, we're going to see, does it turn over? I'll grab it there in a second and try and turn it over. Then I will drain definitely the smaller of the 2 tanks and get all the petrol out of there, because that won't be any use. I can try and get this cap off, but I'm going to have to try and get that cap off in a minute and see what's in that second tank. So obviously TVO has gone with quite a while, but I was having a look on a few forums last night, and it would appear that TVO had an octane rating of about 55 to 70. So you can achieve that by using 2 parts petrol to 1 part kerosene or heating oil. So I'm gonna, if I can get running on petrol, we might do that, but I'm going to check what's inside in that tank. There's a selector valve here to change between the 2 tanks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a funnel underneath this and switch it over to the petrol side, and I'm going to drain all the petrol out of that tank. and get some fresh fuel into it, because that, as I say, will not be combustible. I would imagine we can try lighting off some of it when it's out of the tractor. Then we'll just check the points, see if we can get a spark, and try and fire it up. So look, I don't think it's going to be a very difficult one. The tractor has been well stored, building's dry, so I don't have any great fear of this one. But that said, let's get into it. Not sure what this stuff is, but let's find out. Oh, that smells bad. Yeah, I very much doubt that's flammable. I don't know what that is. Absolutely black. And the fuel smells bad. It's green. Looks like diesel. Smells like stale petrol. Pop off this distributor tab and have a look inside. Okay. Oh, that's encouraging. Cap and rotor are in decent condition. They aren't even corroded, so that's good. And pop off the cap and have a look at the points. Points actually don't look bad. Let's give you a look. They actually look to be in quite good condition, but just going to run a little bit of sandpaper between them as a precaution and just put everything back together. Fairly confident we're going to have spark. Yeah, as I expected, it rolls over perfectly, and oh, it looks fine. We're not going to have any coolant in here. The hose is totally rotten, so I'm going to have to dig around at home. I might have a piece of hose that I can put in there before we start it up. Right, that stuff is still running. It's giving me a banging headache. It's absolutely disgusting. Well, that's doing that. I'm going to have a quick look at the carburetor and the air intake. Interesting air intake. Never noticed this in them before. In the dashboard, through the dashboard into the oil bath and down to the carb. Now, after the 35 video. I decided I better do a little bit more research this time into what I was looking at. Somebody pointed out the last time that, or several people did, that in a 35 there's no ignition on position, it's only start position. Okay, so I was wrong in thinking that the wrong key barrel is fitted to it. So in the 20, it turns out, that's just as well, I checked it, that you start it with the gear lever. Apparently the gear lever comes over and up some way. I have to do it when I'm on the tractor. You can see there's an S marked here on the gearbox. So yeah, apparently you started with the lever as a way of making sure that people didn't start these things in gear. Right, have a quick look at that oil bath. It's, I would imagine it's fine actually, due to the fact that it's been indoors. I'm gonna have a job getting that off. I'll probably just leave it as is. I'll pull off the pipe and just check carburetor. Right, let's give it power and see what happens. Alrighty, so when I was at this thing yesterday, there was nothing happening. Now down here is the solenoid. No, it's not an actual solenoid. It looks like there's a pair of contacts. So you have the positive battery lead in the left, lead to the starter on the right, and sits on top of the gearbox. So that is manually engaged. So got the multimeter set up here on top on continuity, and I'm just gonna try it. Okay, so we have continuity there. So it's lift the lever, bring it over, and takes quite a shove, but put it into the start position. Right, so after a bit of playing around with the ignition switch, I think I should now hopefully have power to the coil. No. There we go, wrong setting again. Right, finally 12 volts. To do some more cleaning the connections. It's a bit sluggish. I'm going to try it from the other side of this one to see how quickly it is rotating. Okay, so I'm going to run through all these connections and clean them up. Bought myself one of these things earlier on. Okay, I'll show you on this. It's a battery post and battery lug cleaner. been meaning to pick up one of these in a long time. It's actually a great little job, and as you can see, the opposite side of it has wire brush, a male wire brush. You can clean the connections with. So, going to do those. I'm going to go over the connection, the starter, the few at the solenoid, and we'll throw the battery back in and see can we get it to turn over any faster. Alrighty, that's everything cleaned, battery reinstalled, and I fitted this little plug tester on here as well, so we'll be able to see if we've got spark. So I'm going to just set you guys up and we'll crank it up and see what happens. Alright, see how this works out. Ooh. Right, we don't appear to have any spark. So, on investigation, it's pretty clear why we're getting no spark here. So, the points are sitting on top of the can there, and we've got continuity, so the points are not open. It could be a bit of corrosion in here, or a bit of burning has closed that gap, or else the gap has just closed. So, I need to adjust them, and I need to make sure they're properly cleaned as well. So I might just remove the points altogether. It's the easiest thing, and clean them outside the distributor and refit them. So when you go to gap points, if it's something you haven't done before, you just basically rotate the engine until that shoe there is sitting on the high point on the cam, and you set your gap then. So I find with some engines there's actually a plate somewhere that tells you your point gap. I'll just have to Google it, and I should have a set of feeler gauges in the pickup, and I'll set those. By the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier on the video or not, but if you're looking at this from the US, you might look at this engine and not recognise it. This is a TE20, so that stood for Tractor England. So it's the engine in it is I think a 2088cc 4-cylinder built by the Standard Motor Company, whereas the US versions would be TO20 or Tractor Overseas, and they're fitted with a 4-cylinder Continental. I believe as well the US didn't get the TVO option. So yeah, just a little bit of trivia for you there, if you've been looking at this and wondering why this engine doesn't look familiar. Right, got a second battery. Let's give it another shot, see if it cranks any better. Alrighty, so it's cranking far better with the jump lead off the battery down to the starter motor. So we're going to leave that in place. I am now going to fill up the fuel system, and we'll see if we can get it to start. Carburetor's obviously gummed up, so we are going to have to open it up, I think. Kind of hoping we were going to avoid that, but yeah, she's dripping fuel. So I would imagine float's probably stuck in things. So I'm going to bring a bit of light over here. We'll drain the fuel out of the float bowl and remove it. I'll take it home and clean it up this evening. So yeah, this is the carb. It's a little Zenith. Never looked at one of these before, but look, I'll just crack it open and see what we see. Okay, so here's inside the carb. You can see a nice little brass float in there. Yeah, it's fairly stinky in here. I'd say that it's probably choked with stale fuel. Ah, yeah. Okay, this says an awful lot. See if we can get the light to go in there. This is full of crap. So I think probably the best way to clean this is to go back to the workshop with it. We do it properly. Alright, so it's back in the bench. Give you an idea of the inside of the float chamber. And the other thing was, just managed to free it out, was the choke was completely stuck. That was not moving at all. So there's a pile of crap in there, so I'm going to spray that with carb cleaner now. And gives this thing a thorough cleaning. Alright, so I've given a bit of a clean up. See, can you see this? So the needle valve is seating properly. Float doesn't have any fuel in it, and I've cleaned all the different orifices in it. So in theory it should now work. In theory float can move up and down cleanly. So I'm just going to throw it back together and we put it on the tractor tomorrow. Whoa, she's going to go. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, so there actually was a little bit of coolant in the bottom of this, but as soon as I touched that hose, it just disintegrated. I had an old T6 hose with me, a V8 bottom hose. I put that in, but we were still leaking water, and this one up on top is completely porous as well, so we're just leaking all over the place. But it'll hold the water long enough that we can fire it up and let the engine idle up a little bit longer, so we'll give it a start. No, can't run it too long because I don't really have much in the way of ventilation inside in this building. But oil pressure looks good. She's running quite cleanly. Right. Yeah, I'd say she's a runner. Okay, so that's it. She's a runner. Obviously, there's a couple of bits that need to be addressed in it, just to loosen up those throttle linkages, change those couple of cooling hoses, and pump the tires and see does she actually move. I'm not going to do that today because the weather is absolutely miserable outside. So in the comments below, let me know if you want to see another video on this tractor. Do you actually want to see it get out of the shed and drive? Let me know what you think. Also, I have a lot of footage that I filmed over the last couple of years, but some of it didn't make it to the channel for various reasons. So some jobs turned out to be too easy. There was a few jobs that I looked at and I knew from the beginning that there was just no hope in the world of saving things. So tell me if you'd like to see some of that footage. There's some other stuff like this, kind of general videos of different cars I've encountered in that time, stuff I've driven and things like that. Let me know in the comments if you want to see some of that in between, obviously, the proper videos, the will it starts and whatnot. I will be getting back to the 35 soon, and again, apologies on my lack of, or on my incorrect information in my previous video on the 35. As I say, I was calling it an X because I thought all three cylinders were X's. So, and also I think I mentioned it during this video where people pointed out that the ignition key was actually right. There's no ignition on position on a 35, just heat and start. So yeah, I'll jump back in that tractor shortly. I am also hoping to go and look at some other projects this week. There could be some really good will it starts coming. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.